Okay.
Are we live?
I think we're live.
I think this happens every single time where this loading
Yeah.
speaker happens, and then all of us are talking, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, you're live, you're live."
Okay, and we need a better entry.
Really?
Yeah,
We
well,
have the sliding thing, right?
How long take this loading speaker thing?
until I turn it off.
Oh,
Turn it off.
Right.
Hello.
hello.
How's it going?
Hi.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Home Assistant release party, Home Assistant 2022.7. So that means July, our sixth release of this year, but it's in July. We skipped January. And it's an awesome release. It is, yeah, I mean, it's good. We're going to talk today about all the cool things in this release. We're joined today by Dominique as well. We'll do an intro round in a second, but it means we're also going to talk about some Z-Wave stuff, because who doesn't like talking about Z-Wave stuff? We might even, if there's questions today about Matter, there was a lot of Matter stuff happening last month, or we showcased how Matter's going to work in Home Assistant. There was a Matter member meeting. There's a lot of stuff happening around in the Matter world. Definitely, anyone have questions, make sure you drop them at some point so we can discuss those. But before we continue, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Paulus Schoutse. I'm the founder of Home Assistant.
Which
It's my
direction?
turn. I'm so sorry. This is going really well. We practiced. Well, hi, I'm Frank, and yeah, I'm working on the Home Assistant project.
My name is Zach. I do stuff for the front end, stuff around Home Assistant.
Yeah, my name is Pascal Viseli, and I'm all around in the project.
Yeah, and my name is Dominic, and I'm the guy behind ZUF.js, who wrote it from scratch, basically.
And most recent Home Assistant convert since a week.
That's true.
Can you see my
Awesome.
yellow from here?
Right, really?
Can we see your Home
No,
Assistant?
I can. You can't.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna
Right.
enhance your picture. Oh, we have to.
Oh, Zach, you have a bigger box.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, you
why is
know
that?
how that goes.
Right, well, just actually, why don't we start with this?
Yeah.
The Home Assistant Yellow is going to ship this month to the first backers. Home Assistant Yellow is, of course, the home automation hub that we launched last September. Was crowdfunded, and it comes in like 3 different variants. You have the Home Assistant Yellow, which is the all-in-one package with the Raspberry Pi Compute Module 4 built in, pre-installed with Home Assistant. Then there are 2 kit variants. One kit variant, in both kit variants, you have to bring your own Compute Module 4, but all the other experience is the same. It allows you to upgrade your Compute Module to be more powerful than what comes with the standard Home Assistant Yellow. The one kit variant has a power supply. The other kit variant has power over Ethernet. Now, the bigger box you just saw on Zach's screen. Zach, can you show it again?
Yep.
That is the one with the power supply. That's why the box is so big. It is, power supply localized to your country. And what Frank is showing, that is going to be the box with power over Ethernet. Now, sadly, we do have some, we're still doing the final tweaks on the power over Ethernet, because there was a little bit more emissions than are allowed. So we're still working with the testing lab and our engineers to tweak that. So this month, what we're shipping is Home Assistant Yellow and all the
Standard
Home
kit.
Assistant yellow kits that are with a power supply.
Yep.
It actually turns on just on Ethernet.
You have
That's
PoE on desk.
Yes, I have PoE on desk. The small
Oh
one.
yeah.
I mean, this is, I personally love the PoE version, because, you just plug in a cable and it works, right? It's really neat.
It's very nice.
Yeah. I see some
But
people
then
already.
you need to switch.
Sorry.
You need the hardware for using PoE. You cannot just plug in a cable. You need
No,
the
yeah,
right
you need a
switch. for it.
special
Yeah.
switch that has
Switch.
power over Ethernet, of course. But it's those are getting more affordable as well.
So Peter Thinker's already going in the chat like, Frank, pull it, strip it off. It's because I still have like the sealed plastic on it.
That's how
kind
it
of
looked
fun. I
like
keep it
split
on.
up.
Yeah.
There's something strange about me. I like to keep it on because I fiddle with it at this point still. I'm just worried
want the
about scratching it.
fingerprint scratching.
Well, I don't know.
You know, to make no fingerprints on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway,
It's,
if you are still looking for a Raspberry Pi Compute Module 4 to go with your kit, the website rpilocator.com, and I'm just going to share the website.
That's how I got mine.
Yeah, so this is a website that will it keeps track of all the official distributors of Raspberry Pi, that their stock, and so you can set up alerts. I personally had like just follow the Twitter account. You can in Twitter say send me a push notification whenever this person tweets, and so whenever new stock arrives, you get a tweet. Generally, within a week or two, you will be able to find a compute module. If you don't go with the official distributors of Raspberry Pi, you might also find a compute module, but they will not honor the pricing that are set by Raspberry Pi. So you might pay a lot of money. There are generally on these websites of distributors are kits that come with like a Raspberry Pi or compute module with like SD card, power supply case, and all that stuff. Those generally have more availability, but then you buy a lot of stuff you don't need because the yellow already has that stuff. So yeah, I guess that was a quick update on the yellow. It's beautiful.
oh, you have the
It's beautiful.
NVMe, yeah?
Yes, I put because you can.
Yeah.
Like I put a terabyte on it because, it's mirrored. But yeah, because you can. That's kind of beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean,
I
one
don't
of
know
the
why,
things
but
I use the onboard eMMC currently on my device. It works fine.
I mean, that is one of the beauties is, of course, the flexibility of the Home Assistant Yellow, right? If you need the space, you can plug in a terabyte. If you just want to use the onboard eMMC of the compute module, that works great too.
yeah. And what I really find beautiful, actually, now having this thing, in case you didn't notice, I removed the casing during the stream. It's just without tools. I can just like, there are thumb screws underneath it. So it's really accessible too. I find that really friendly and touchy. This is my first yellow, by the way, so I'm still in like the surprising phase. Like, oh, this thing is cool.
Yeah. There's somebody asking, Jasper's asking, what's the size of the eMMC? Well, there's different compute modules, so you can actually pick different eMMC spaces that you need. For a standard, I think with the Home Assistant Yellow, it will come with
16.
16
Oh,
gigabytes.
16 on that, yeah.
We're
But
talking,
Yeah.
2 is the
Yeah.
RAM.
2 gigs of RAM.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
16 should be enough for just day-to-day operation of Home Assistant. Like if you go all crazy with add-ons, if you want to do a
Yeah,
lot of
you
crazy
can also-
stuff, then plug in an SSD, and then you can move your data disk to SSD while still running Home Assistant from the eMMC, so you have the best of both worlds.
That's what I
Right.
do too.
But if you get a
Even though-
compute module without eMMC, you can run everything from the SSD, and that also works. So you literally can pick any compute module 4 is compatible with the Home Assistant Yellow.
And the casing is back on. So quick.
It's pretty cool.
All
Well,
right.
so should I release the Home Assistant newsletter, or should we continue to wait? You know, this Home Assistant newsletter that's on building.homeassistant.io, and if you want to get it within the next 5 minutes, you can go ahead and subscribe.
Is it done already?
It's done. Yeah, I just need to ship it.
Just need to press
I
that
like the
button.
newsletter. It's not just a blog post. It's just really have additional information
Yes.
around the Home Assistant and other open homes projects.
Yep. So in case you're looking for it,
Oh yeah, I forgot the Home
we should
Assistant.
change
I
that
actually
URL
showed
once.
on the
But
stream. I quickly opened it up. this is our newsletter. Every month, we will publish our thoughts on the progress that we're seeing inside the open home, and you know, we whatever we talk of course about the home assistant release, but like for example, if you were into Matter or Let's Get Loud, two of the events we had last month, they were also being teased here. We're talking about just how projects are getting better and stronger and what we're doing to work on that. Of course, we also highlight what the community is doing, what the community is building, and all the cool stuff that's happening. So the latest release is gonna go out, I guess, in 5 seconds or something, Zach.
Yeah, in about 5 seconds.
If you've missed the newsletter until now, it's fine. You can go to the website and read all the old editions to actually see if you care. It's a free newsletter, by the way, every month. Just in case you're like, I want to get more content from these people, that's definitely possible.
I guess there is also a link in the settings page of Home Assistant in the bottom.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's ship it.
Live shipping. That's like a demo with
It's almost so scary.
you don't want to fail.
I guess we shipped the image also live. I guess it's currently in building.
Yeah, it's building. So the release isn't there yet. I haven't checked up, but we'll do it really quick. Good call, by the way. I should keep that open.
Boom, boom. We can.
It's still going strong.
So no one can test it right now.
Nope.
Or can report
for the
errors.
people not familiar, whenever we publish a new Home Assistant release, we're building it. We have so many supported platforms, so we have to support it for we create base images for all the different computer architectures, and then we can actually start building it for the machine. So as you can see, most are done. That's also thanks to our new wheel system that is being introduced in this release. So things should build faster.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about
And actually, that is
50 minutes
maybe as we're talking about release, Pascal, you want to talk about all the changes to like Python and wheels in this release and the benefits?
Yeah, sure. So under the hood, with this release, we changed the Python version. So it's now 3.10. We wait mostly about a year after new Python releases out, just because not all libraries are full-time maintained. So sometimes it takes some weeks or months or several months until library support the new Python version. So we just wait up to a year until the libraries are fixed, or maybe there are some Python bugs. So, and then we shipped it. We shipped it with the images. But this time we not only changed the Python version, we also changed how we build the images and distribute the image. So we have around 800-900 packages in the image. And if we have to build that each time we make a new release, that takes hours or almost days for some platforms. So we compile in the background, we pre-compile all the libraries. And so on the build time, we just have to pull that and just unpack that on the image, which make it a lot faster. And in the past, we used our own build system for that. And now Python adds support for Alpine. That's the base operating system which we use for our images. And they support now also the Muscle Linux. So we have rewritten our build system to build Muscle Linux. And now we can share this package also to other projects, but also other library maintainers can now upload the pre-compiled package to PyPy, and we can just pull it and use it and don't have to compile all package by ourselves, which is also really nice for custom integration.
Yeah. So everything will be faster and smoother. That is the less bandwidth wasted. And ideally, with like more muscle wheels being uploaded to PyPI, we're not duplicating efforts anymore, because Home Assistant used to build all these versions of Python packages for all these different architectures. Like every time a new release was uploaded, we have like so much
Including
space.
all the custom components that are out there.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, it was a
insane.
bit a problem also in the past because we have our own build system. Custom component was not able to use that build system too. We had some helper which we tried to use, which was a bit difficult, but now which we use official support with Python, it's also a lot better for custom integration to build their binary package and upload it to their customers or users. So this release have Python 3.10, which make it, of course, faster. But it has also a bit, a downside. So the biggest problem is that the old Bluetooth libraries don't work anymore. And so currently some or a lot of the Bluetooth integrations currently don't work until the maintainer of the package was moving over to a bit more modern way to handle Bluetooth.
I mean,
Which
a
of
bit
course
more modern. That is like an understatement, right? Like the newer modern way of the Python dealing with Python, I think was released like 2-3 years ago, and
almost 4 years.
almost 4 years. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the modern way is also 4 years old, which is like half the almost the lifetime of Home Assistant, right? But it's basically you cannot combine multiple Bluetooth ways. So this new modern way actually allows you to have different integrations to Bluetooth stuff. And so really, we hope and we are planning to like kind of generalize this and do Bluetooth better in the future.
Yeah, it's a benefit if the integration all move to the newer Bluetooth interface. They will be a lot more stable, which is of course a benefit for all users.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's have all time a bit downsides. And then there are maybe some libraries which are unmaintained, which not get the update for 3.10. But I think that's not a lot integrations.
Yeah. All right. Shall we like really jump into the release notes now?
Let's do it.
Ta-da-da-da!
Boom.
Boom. There it is.
Yeah.
So, 2022. Oh, no, I'm now imitating you, Paul. 2022.7. Holy shit. A stunning performance, because that's what it is. And it's not just what Pascal did, right? There's more things happening here that makes this release truly a stunning performance, I would say.
Right.
That means this number means just 5 release until end of the year.
That's a crazy thing. It's already July.
It's okay. Yeah, that's
The
true,
time
by the
just
way.
Yeah. So but I guess this release, because it's so leaning towards or like focus on performance, I think that as a user you will see some of features that have changed, but most of it will actually be under the hood. And so the people that benefit the most or will notice the most are either people that are still running on a Raspberry Pi 3 or older, and I would really suggest to upgrade there. Yellow is a nice device.
That's true.
Or people that have really big installations on hardware that is kind of underpowered for it. They will also see a big bump now with benefit in this release because everything is going a lot faster. So yeah,
Yep.
let's dig in.
All right. Here we go. Big list of changes. The release party, which you're watching now, so don't click there.
Can we watch ourselves?
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny to watch ourselves, maybe. But okay. So first of all, let's start with Beat Draco. Yeah, because normally in the release notes we end with, "Oh, by the way, we improved performance." Like that's been the last releases has been the last section of the release notes. Oh, by the way, we something was made quicker, and most of these things have been done by Vidraco, which is just nuts what he's doing there. Really cool stuff. But this time it's actually pretty darn big in what this change does. So we moved it all to the top just to talk about it. The most important aspect, probably this release, are based on YAML and JSON. So YAML, which we use to configure, or some people use to configure automations. Sorry for the noise in the background. And JSON parser, which is used for communication between Home Assistant and the Home Assistant frontend, for example, or APIs and many other places. Those two parsers, those two toolings that are handling those configuration formats have been replaced with faster variants or faster libraries. And they're just flying. It is nuts. Like if you have a lot of YAML automations or things like that, and you hit reload, it's just like even before you can blink your eye, it's like done. And yeah,
Well,
that's
yeah,
impressive.
the biggest impact that you might notice here is during startup. Like when Home Assistant starts up, it's loading a lot of files from disk. Like every integration can be a couple of files, and of course, if you have like 30 integrations, each loading 4 files, well, that's 120 files being loaded. And so those, even though there's no writes being done, and it's just reads, still like they need to, it needs to be loaded. So and these files might not be cached because you just restarted. And so if you could then combine that also with like reading JSON and YAML, and all of a sudden a lot of things are happening at the same exact time. The Python files are being parsed and processed. So seeing all it faster, like people would see like this integration is taking longer than 10 seconds to start up, and these errors were usually incorrectly attributed. Yes, that integration was taking longer, but it was not because that integration was slower. It was because everything else was happening at the same time. Especially if people had the front end open, which that's how you usually hit the restart button, then the front end would also reconnect while Home Assistant was starting up, loading a lot of data on top of what is already happening, slowing down everything even more. So there's just all that stuff is just faster, less stuff is happening. Basically do less and be lazy. That was the approach. And if you do something, do it faster.
Yeah, I mean, it's also the front end, the communication between the front end and the back end. So between the app and the software on the device, use also JSON for transfer the data between.
Yeah.
And that's also now faster.
Yes.
Yeah, one little detail that was added too, which might be not exactly related, but I still put it here, is with the devices. If they have an issue, then because they can't connect or whatever, something changed in your network, then Home Assistant would try to rediscover the device and later reconnect to the device if it has been discovered. For example, it got a new address on your network. Home Assistant will try to pick it up, and then later on a reconnect, try the new address, and your light will be back. That's kind of how we keep things in sync and ensure everything works all the time. So what was changed now too is that as soon as it discovers, it will reconnect, not wait to the next try, but it will just go. So especially on startup, or if something in your network changed and you start up Home Assistant, it will just like quickly find all that stuff and just go.
Right. Yeah, this has
Sweet.
been very much like an effort to kind of like create a better, faster self-healing network, right? So with config entries, we store where devices are located on your network. And so if we see that has changed, we'll update it, reconnect right away, and your system is up and running faster than before.
Well, and to add to that, the HAP library, the HomeKit Accessory Protocol. I hope I'm correct.
Yeah.
Oh, it's has been replaced and is now like faster too because it has new encryption methods, and that works faster with the Apple TV and HomeKit and the HomeKit controller, and it's also for iOS 16 that's coming up. So,
right. So what this
that's
integration
nice too.
does for people that don't know is that HomeKit is Apple's home automation protocol. It works over Wi-Fi and it works over Thread. And if you talk to devices with HomeKit, like you can either be the one controlling things or you can be controlled over HomeKit. Now there's a bunch of devices out there that can be controlled over HomeKit, and the HomeKit accessory protocol allows Home Assistant to control those devices over HomeKit. So Home Assistant will talk, for example, directly in my house to my Honeywell thermostat over HomeKit. And this is the only local API that my thermostat has available. And there's no Apple device involved. It's just Home Assistant talking to Honeywell, and it just works. And it's great. And this is, by the way, now, this is actually going to be the promise of Matter too, right? And then Matter will have a wider adoption because Google and Amazon are going to also support this. So all of a sudden we'll see a huge set of devices, I hope, that will have a local API. And our Matter integration, just like our HomeKit accessory protocol integration, will allow Home Assistant to talk these protocols, control your devices.
Yep. So if you combine all this, we talked about just now in this chapter, with Pascal's work on Python 3.10, you will have like a truly amazing speed difference in like start time and how everything feels and snappy. It's truly amazing. So thank you all for that.
Can you imagine having Home Assistant a year ago versus Home Assistant now and just turning them on and just seeing like Home Assistant like just come up on the new one and then just still be loading on the old one? Like,
so Dominic is here too, so that's kind of interesting. Like back in the day when you had Z-Wave and we didn't have UI configuration stuff yet and such. Like if you restarted Home Assistant, you could literally go out and go to the supermarket and come back. And like it would take 15 to 20 minutes for the Home Assistant to get back online. Like talking about, can you imagine it?
Yeah, somebody's asking, Polygents, improved JSON performance also touch the WebSocket API? Definitely, yes. That one is also a lot faster. So if you have really, really big, large amounts of entities or devices, these kind of stuff, everything should be faster to load.
Yeah, I figure Node-RED could benefit from this as well, right?
Oh yeah, so Node-RED should be slightly faster.
For the Python update, of course, that's only for the OS and the container installation. If you run in core, then it's not benefit from that.
No, but that's
you have to do it yourself.
5% of our users.
Yeah, it's 5%. Yeah.
Well, it's still quite a lot, actually. Surprising. Like, well, no, I'm amazed. Like, use a container, right? Like, if you, maybe if you don't like OS and you want to go like do things more yourself, use a container. It's just so much easier. But yeah.
I mean, in the container, it's not we run our own Python execution, which we also have optimized. So it's not the same which you get if you just install from apt-get or whatever. And then we also have our own with JMalloc. We really optimize the memory handling of the Python application to make it really fast.
Yep.
So there's a lot more behind.
If people are interested how we know this information, there's this, it's called Home Assistant Analytics. You can, it's an opt-in analytics system built into Home Assistant. So during onboarding or later in the settings, you can check out and opt into analytics, and you can share how you're using Home Assistant. We estimate around 1/3 to be opted in. So, our current estimation is that we have around 500,000 of active Home Assistant installations. Right now, 156,300 total. Version adoption, you can see how in January we didn't do a release, that's why it's higher. But generally we see growth. And then the moment we release a new version, we see adoption to be happening very smoothly, which is great because the faster you update, the faster Home Assistant is, as like today's release, but more bug fixes, etc. The last thing I just want to show is that like we see, that 60% is already updated to the latest release. So within 1 month, it is like people are on the latest release, another 15% on the release before. And you can really see like 16% of the people are kind of like stagnating. They're not updating always to the latest version. Now, that kind of correlates a little bit with the installation times, because if you run Home Assistant operating system or you run supervised, then there will be a single button to just update Home Assistant whenever a new release is available. There's nothing you have to do. You press that button, it installs the update. If the update fails to come up for whatever reason, it will actually roll back the update, and you can continue using it while you can report that bug, or the bug will get fixed. You can try the update again. You won't lose a running system. Now, the operating system will even allow you to do the same thing, but for the operating system itself, right? So you update Home Assistant operating system. It is actually has two partitions. So when it updates the operating system, it will update one of the partitions. It will then boot from that partition, from the newer Home Assistant operating system. If the operating system does not boot, it will boot from the old operating system. And that way, you will always have a working system. And like all these checks are in place so that you as a user can actually focus on home automation or your smart home, or even better, not focus on the Home Assistant and just do other stuff in life while we take care of all the hard parts. So today's Python update, for example, if you're running operating system or container or supervise, actually in this case, you don't need to do anything. All the speed improvements of Python 3.10 are coming to you just when you hit update.
You know what's cool to see is down there at the bottom right, the board types. You can see Home Assistant yellow.
Right. Yeah, but it has no percentage yet.
Yeah.
Now, we see a lot of our users are either using a Raspberry Pi 4 or a virtual machine, right?
I
A
mean,
virtual machine is nice because you can use any host system but still get all the benefits of Home Assistant operating system. Raspberry Pi 3 still hanging in there. And then, of course, the generic x86. This is like an Intel NUC or any other, I don't know, old laptop that you've like repurposed to serve Home Assistant.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
I mean,
so Paulus, what do we use this data for exactly?
Oh, right. Good question. No, well, you want to say it or shall I?
I could say it, but really, I mean, if you opt into this data, it really helps us talk to different companies, to different manufacturers, devices, smart home companies, and really convince them that Home Assistant is more than just some open source DIY tool that nobody uses. This data helps us back up our story. It also helps us convince companies to do local control and something that really hits into our main values of Home Assistant, instead of just being like, oh yeah, well, Home Assistant can just create an integration off of this random API that we may or may not have, and we can get official integrations into Home Assistant.
And we'll have some updates about how we've used this to convince manufacturers, and some manufacturers that have been convinced soon.
Have been, and very surprised by the numbers.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for opting into analytics. And if you haven't,
go do it now. If you have,
do it now. Yeah. Or after the stream, I guess it's okay too.
Well, if you have two monitors, do it now. If not, after.
All right.
All right, let's go.
Dominique,
are you there? Because this is about you, or not just you. It's Z-Wave, actually. I'm sorry. But
all Z-Wave is Dominique. That's actually not true. There's a lot of people working on Z-Wave.
So the cool thing this release
I'm
about
there.
Z-Wave is device
I'm
updates,
not
right?
seeing anything.
That's not
You
much.
don't see anything?
Are you on the StreamYard URL?
Dominique, can you hear us?
I think it's really delayed.
Let's send him a message, maybe to reconnect. I'll skip over this for a moment.
Yeah.
Spinner on blue.
I wrote him to refresh his browser. Okay.
This is not a recording.
This is not a recording. Definitely not. So let's talk about something else then real quick, because the About page is now beautiful. Take it away, Zach.
Yeah, so I was looking at the newsletter, or God, now I have a newsletter in my head. I was looking at the About page, and I really just saw that it needed something new. We had a brand new settings page, brand new configuration menu, everything. It was brand new, but this page just had basically text and links and random stuff just kind of thrown into it. And so I was like, let's make it pretty, quick and easy. And this is what it came out to be. Thank you to Matthias for really giving me the design idea. I did not come up with this all on my own. That's why we have a UX designer. He's really nice. And we came up with this. So now you can see all the same information, other than one thing that we'll talk about that had moved. But you can see the change log. Thanks to is a really cool one that you should kind of scroll through. Get our merchandise. That's cool. Hopefully we get some new merchandise pretty soon. But you can see the rest, all that cool stuff. Now, one thing that we did move, which probably 99% of people didn't know that was there, but I'm not sure. I don't know the numbers. But the path for your configuration used to be down there. Used to probably, for most people, say /config. This is now moved to the system health page. So up at the top, first section, last row, first section of the top section. But last row, it'll tell you your path to configuration. So that's the only thing that really moved.
Yeah, what I really like about this change, besides just like the old one looked really like, I think it was still original as you created Polis, maybe, kind of like the Polymer days. But I really like the fact how it lists the versions now clearly. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah,
we were actually thinking if we should like move that kind of away into like a system health kind of.
The Home Assistant version is good, but yeah.
No, I think
confused. Am I running supervisor or operating system?
Yeah.
Well, we could list like the installation type here, maybe, but
yeah, no, we should definitely do that.
That would probably help, but I think it's kind of helpful that there's one place that you can just copy paste like a little block or a little. You can see it in system health, but it's more like spread over the board. This is the components that are there. I kind of like it actually, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It's the biggest refactor of the input.
Oh, what happened? Was that? Can you talk again, Pascal?
Sorry?
Oh yeah, is that me or is that him?
What?
Did you not hear that?
We have no idea what you're talking about, Zach.
Well, it sounds like his connection.
Are you okay, Zach?
I don't know.
I said it's the biggest refactor of the info page.
Do you hear that or no?
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I hear that.
No, I heard it.
Crackling.
Yeah. Crackling.
It sounds like you're.
That is the biggest refactoring of the info page ever. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's the biggest refactor because I'm pretty sure it's the only refactor.
That's probably true. So that was the info page. There's not much more to tell about it, but it looks better now, Zach. So thank you. What's really needed? Really nice. Like this is one of the the things people don't do because it's not that important. But actually, it's kind of nice if it's done.
I mean, now it's really nice.
You sound really crackly, Pascal.
Maybe you got. Can you make sure your connection in the back is good?
I think it's a digital microphone, no?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's go then to Dominic. Are you there?
Dominic. 1, 2, 3, test. Can you hear us?
Peanut butter jelly time.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes. Good.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, test.
Only one person with microphone problems at a time. Now it's
Pascal.
Pascal. That's great.
I still think it's very delayed.
Yeah. This is so. We should pre-record this. This is why companies and projects and every live stream, well, not live streams, but like announcement streams and such are pre-recorded.
Yeah.
Back in the days, all was better. It's not better. Not.
No, it's
not really.
It's not better. Well, we could probably go over it, and then if Dominique can hear us, he can.
We have more topics. Let's go. Let's go down.
Yeah, let's go down. Dominique, we're going to try again.
No, Paulus also has to go.
Oh yeah, I have to go in 20 minutes, but I'm not. I'm just here for entertainment, insights.
All right. Well, new this release is that you can change any of the units that a weather unit provides, which
Oh,
are quite a few data points to any other unit that's similar. So um, we have quite a few weather services in Home Assistant, right? And what always was the case that weather service acts as wind speed in whatever miles a second or meters a second, and that service has it in kilometers an hour, and people on ships like it's in knots or something. I don't know. So now you can change all the units of all these things on weather entities by clicking on edit, just where you rename it and give it an icon and such. You can now also like change the unit for every single thing. So that's pretty awesome.
yeah, no, this is really cool. I think it's we started this kind of with the temperature sensors initially, and I think we've been slowly rolling this out, doing more and more of these conversions, so that people can really customize it. Like it used to be that if you said I like Celsius or you like Fahrenheit, then all your temperatures are gonna be in that unit. So, but of course, then there were people that said I want my CPU temperature in Celsius, but my weather in Fahrenheit, and then basically it came to a point where like our defaults just don't end up being correct for everyone. So basically we have a set of defaults that we know is not going to be perfect, but then you can customize it and then make it perfect. So
Is it
Now, what
now
I really
working
think,
again?
Looks good now. Sounds good
yes,
now.
you sound
Huh.
perfect
great.
now.
I have no idea.
So what I
But
really
fine, it
find
works.
really
I'm
cool.
back.
Oh,
That's okay. So
Yeah.
what's really cool about this change is that like we have so many weather services actually, and Eric, I believe Eric, yeah, Eric and G Johansson ST, they went through all the weather integrations and changed and upgraded them all for this release, which is that was a really a big list. And well, thank you guys for doing that. It's just
Yeah.
not just like a feature, but this feature is actually usable,
Yeah.
like everywhere.
Yeah, it's not something they had to do. It's like normally, a lot of contributors, they will, they're contributing to the code that they own or the code that they want to change because that's their integration. And then, if something changes for the good that could go across everything, then other code owners come in and update it. But they do like, you know what? We want everyone to have this.
Yep.
Great.
So they did.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. We have now labels. Gosh, guys.
Yeah.
Can you tell about that, Zach? Maybe.
Yeah, this one's a cool one. So in the 2022.5 release, we got the ability to add segments to the gauge card. So this is currently a YAML only feature, but it allows you to kind of set up segments. So very similar to like an energy card, or if you have something where it's not just a straight 0 to 1 is good, 1 to 2 is medium, and 3 to 4 is really, really bad. It may be, extremes and lows are really bad, but in the middle is good. You can set up your segments to show that. And before it was just saying, okay, 50 to 100 is really good. And we would just show you the value. 76, that would be the value. Well, sometimes that's not very descriptive. Sometimes you would rather just see words in a human readable way. So now you can do that. Now, if you set up your segments and you add a label, that will come, that will show up instead of the value that's being shown. So super, super nice, super easy way to do that. And, added feature there, kind of a quality of life type of thing.
Yeah, I actually might keep like this screenshot. I created that one for the
It's a nice-
screenshot, but I actually might keep it for the bathroom humidity. Like this is
Yeah.
high or low, and it's all good. I kind of, yeah. So I was creating it for
this was
screenshot,
like
maybe.
the gouge of the fart meter that we.
Oh,
I
have
saw
you
it.
seen that one? That one was amazing. I should that's kind. It's kind of I don't know. He uses a VOC sensor on it in his restroom, right, and then detects if it's smelly there. That's just with the ESP Home. That's just like interesting.
That's magic.
That's
Well, and
magic.
yeah, no, but the person also had a poop emoji 3D printed, and that's where the sensor was in, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, I see a lot of comments scrolling by of people upgrading because the upgrade is now available. So it's done building, and the reboot speed is crazy fast. And more people
Nice.
are saying things like that. So
Yeah, just
that's
keep
good to
hitting the
see.
reboot button. Just enjoy it.
And if you
Wow,
don't
that
see it
did
yet,
look
make
fast.
sure to go to the settings page and click up at the top right and click check for updates. You might see it.
Yep. So
Yeah, now people are
hopefully,
asking about that. About
hopefully
the
you don't use
photometer.
components or custom components. They are compatible with Python 3.10. Otherwise, it should
right,
be fine.
I don't think that there are many. Like
No, but there still are some unmaintained or some libraries.
if you use a really old custom integration that maybe is not Python 3.10 compatible, that could be like breaking for this release. That's true.
I guess it's mostly about async IO, which changed over the time
Yep.
and breaks a lot over the updates.
Yeah, I mean, async IO was really new in Python 3, and it kind of got like more stabilized and more feature. Like basically, I think now after 3.10, I do not expect breaking changes anymore. I mean, I even feel
3.4.
like, yeah, 3.4 was when it was introduced. It was still pretty wild. I think
Yeah.
3.5.3 had the important fix that calling get running loop from inside event loop would actually get you the current event loop. So like
Yep.
3.5.3 and forward was like the ones that worked really okay. But now, yeah, they made a breaking change, which sadly breaks a bunch of backwards compatibility, but it's for the better, I hope. And now with
It's
Yes,
not
it is.
it's not Python 11 removed the coroutine decorator.
Right.
I guess that's the last big break
The
in
last
the
big
release.
cleanup of the old stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Python 3.11, by the way, will be 25% faster than Python 3.10, which is also
Yep.
insane. Like there's
Which is good
so
for
many
us.
companies nowadays that are investing serious money into making Python faster. Like I think Microsoft, they employed Guido from Rossum, the founder of Python, and he's leading like a core team. And I think their goal was to make Python 5 times faster. So they basically had a plan to make Python 1.4 times faster 4 times in a row, which kind of came down to 5 times, which is like 2 times. They laid out a whole plan where 2 iterations would just be having, just low hanging fruit, and then 2 iterations based on a just-in-time compiler that would like, especially long-running Python processes like Home Assistant can benefit from, because over time everything will get faster. So, yay. Dominique, how are you doing?
Better, I hope.
Yes.
Yes.
I was interested.
Yay!
Look good.
Internet's working.
Okay. You want to talk about Z-Wave?
Sure. Yeah.
Let's do it quick. It works now.
While he's online.
So yeah, I think it was on the Open Home stream where I talked about things I want to do with Z-Wave, and one of those was to make firmware updates more accessible. And I think we just did one big step in that direction with exposing the update functionality in Home Assistant directly. For now, you need to get a file from the manufacturer and upload it, but we are already working on a solution where Z-Wave.js is going to find that file for you and make it even easier to update. So you can just check if there are updates available for a device, and if so, you can choose it, read up what's new, and install it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really exciting because what happened, what kind of got the ball rolling here, like we were already interested in this, of course. Like we want to have help our users keep their home secure, be bug free, all these things. But we also needed opt-in from manufacturers. And there was kind of a small whirlwind called Linus Tech Tips, who made a video to and sent it out to his 14 million subscribers on YouTube, and that really motivated some manufacturers. And so they reached out to us. We're working with them right now, and what we see here today, this integration. And I know, Frank, can you scroll down to the next screenshot? I think that there is a second one, right? You can click on update device firmware, and you need to download the device firmware from the manufacturer's website, but then boom, it will just be updated, and that's it. You can continue living your life. Now, I'm gonna remove this screenshot and share my screen, because I want to share this GitHub repository. This is by Yesco products. Yesco is a Z-Wave manufacturer, and they actually have uploaded for all their different devices that they build or are responsible for, firmwares. So you can actually see all the different firmwares. Obviously, a nice disclaimer.
Changelog,
but including changelog, they've been very thorough, and we are working with them, or Dominique is working with them. Dominique created a format for automatic firmware updates, and Yesco will follow this. We will have some other manufacturers to announce soon too that will follow it. And so we can index this from Z-Wave.js. Z-Wave.js is a new firmware update service, and then Home Assistant can plug into this. And just as you can update Home Assistant core or operating system from inside Home Assistant, we will be able to tell you, hey, we see that there's a bug fix version, a firmware update for your Z-Wave device. Do you want to update it? Yes, no. Now the Yesco one, they've been really working. A lot of this is coming online, to work with Home Assistant, even to the point that right now, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, they even have Home Assistant documentation on how to use Home Assistant to update your firmware. Right now, it still points at Z-Wave.js to MQTT. I don't blame them, because it's only been available, of course, in the last 30 minutes. So, but that should come soon. So, shout out to Yesco, shout out to other manufacturers that we don't want to spill the beans yet, but that are coming soon. So more and more of these Z-Wave manufacturers will be around. Somebody asking where to find Fibaro firmware file. So Fibaro is, as far as I know, we're not in touch with yet for our firmware update service.
So
they
are actually, they don't share their firmware files. I actually own a lot of their devices, and the only way you can upgrade it is using a Fibaro hub, which is really nice. So there are firmware updates, but only in their own ecosystem. So it's a bit like Yesco did, right? Not sharing firmwares. Now they did. They made it right.
Fibaro product.
Right. Yeah. So we should send Linus one, and then we. So it's unfortunate that not every manufacturer shares it, right? So in this case,
one of my, I think with Home Assistant we have a big possibility to educate our users about what to look for in devices, right? So one of the things, of course, we always tell people don't buy cloud, or buy things that work locally, like Z-Wave, by the way. I think that being able to receive firmware updates for the Z-Wave file might be actually something that would be great to highlight on the Home Assistant, either inside Home Assistant or on our integrations documentation, being hey, this is a manufacturer that takes their Z-Wave devices seriously, and you will be able to stay up to date. Yep. Right? That way we have this push for device manufacturers being Z-Wave, but of course Zigbee is the same way, right? You need to be able to get to that firmware. So I hope we can nudge manufacturers into the right decision, and then maybe from time to time we just ask Linus to make another video.
I mean, nudging people in the right direction is only really possible if we have your opt-in to analytics. That helps us a lot in those conversations, and kind of proving out that a lot of people will want this and a lot of people will use this.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to note something about the Open Home here, because what Dominique is doing is not for Home Assistant in particular, right? What Dominique is doing is Z-Wave.js, which then can be utilized by anyone else who wants to build, something on top of Z-Wave.js, right? This is not just for Home Assistant, and that's kind of idea of the open home again is to make sure that anyone can build a really good open home, a really good home automation platform, and to be open about it. Everything's open source. Everything can be used by anyone. It's not, solely for Home Assistant. It's not built solely for Home Assistant. It's built for everyone.
It's used by another platform, like another home automation system, right, Dominic?
Yeah, and I think already 2 or 3 commercial hubs use it too.
Okay.
Nice.
Yep.
That I know of, at least.
Yeah.
So
Which I think is
Now
Getting-
they just
it's
need
getting
to start
traction.
paying. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Domotics picked it up recently too. So we are at 3 or 4 home automation platforms now. So
Nice.
So that's kind of
Right,
cool
yeah,
because
right.
everybody uses the same thing, and that can only become better, right?
yeah,
Right. No, but that's of course why we also are looking really forward to Matter, because Matter actually has an open source reference implementation provided by the Alliance, built by Google and Apple, and so we will be able to use the same software as Google is going to run on their hub and Apple is going to run on the HomePod. It will run in Home Assistant, so we can control the light bulb as good as Google.
Yeah.
Um,
Then once we get Matter, we can kick Dominique to the curb because we don't need Z-Wave JS anymore.
Absolutely not. No, Z-Wave, some people think when Matter will arrive that oh yeah, we'll just, then why would you buy something else? But the thing is that if your whole house is Z-Wave, you have a mesh network, right? It takes time to build a reliable mesh network. You need many devices, many floors, and, nobody's interested in throwing away perfectly fine functioning light switches, light bulbs, all that stuff, right? It's just a waste.
It's also an investment, so you probably invested already 4 or 6 or 8 or more thousands of dollars.
Yeah. And I think the other
And it
thing,
can still happen.
it's yeah, Z-Wave is sub gigahertz, right? So the Z-Wave is, I think, more battery efficient, and it can go further than Zigbee or Thread, Matter, all that stuff. So no, there's definitely Z-Wave is gonna stay, Zigbee is gonna stay, I guess, and Matter is gonna stay. And if you look at the for example, Philips Hue, they announced that they will continue to use Zigbee for their lights, and their hub will expose their Zigbee lights over Matter. So you can control Philips Hue stuff, but you need to go through their hub, which is exactly what they like, of course.
Of course.
So, firmware updates. Oh,
What's
I
next?
have one last thing just to share.
Oh,
This is the Z-Wave, Dominique and others have created this firmware update service. So there's a whole service running online. It's all open source. It has an API, how you can check. You can say, hey, for this manufacturer, this product, give me updates. So you can download it, as a URL to download, integrity, so you know what you're downloading is correct. A change log, markdown formatted, so you can render it to the user. You're interested in this. So yeah, really, really cool. And we already heard from Z-Wave manufacturers that they are really impressed with all the work Dominique has put up. So this is, we're definitely aligned here. So that's really good. And then, by the way, for Matter, they have this decentralized firmware update service that's gonna be there, that hopefully we can offer stuff like this. But there's nobody knows how anything of that is gonna work because Matter doesn't exist yet. So
this is going to be an interesting time for that, by the way.
yeah, there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff happening in the next year. I hope.
Be sure to be subscribed to the newsletter, as we just talked about it more, and we'll continue to talk about it. I'm plugging all day, man.
I see it.
Not all about protocols. Energy going to be more expensive, and all the energy optimizing and all the things how it need to work together. It got really important, I guess, also the next year or a couple of the next 3-4 years.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think on the energy front, we can do more, right? We launch energy management, but it's very much just an insight generation tool right now, and I think we can use it more to help you make decisions. I think that would be the next step. But we don't have anything right now in the direct pipeline, though.
Right. Shall
All
we
right.
wish back in?
Yeah, I'm. By the way, I'm gonna leave in a second or two. I somehow got myself double booked. I always forget to put the release party in my calendar.
Same.
And then I do have the release in my calendar, right? But not that I need to block 12 to 3 or 4. It's just release stuff. But
All right.
Well, it was good having you, Paulus.
Yeah.
yeah.
Good having you.
Have a
And
great rest of the day.
I'm talking to everybody next month. Actually, next month I'll be talking to you from Brooklyn. I'm going to move this month, so don't expect too many commits from me or contributions. I'll be busy packing everything. In fact, you don't see it in the camera because I kept everything up for today's live stream, but most of my office is already in a box. So
from
all right,
west
I'm
side
heading out.
to
I wish
east side.
everybody a great day, rest of the live stream, and enjoy the release. Yo!
Bye-bye.
Once Paulus goes, everyone can spill the big secrets. There's a comment.
Yeah, now we can talk freely. No, that's just BS. Oh man.
What big
All
secrets
right.
can you really hold in an open source platform? I mean,
I find that sometimes so funny. You guys, I don't know, everything is there already. Even we're talking about release and it's all surprise, but it's there for the whole month for everybody to see already. Actually, if you know where to look, I guess.
There was a beta for 2 weeks, and the release notes was already out for a week ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's true, right? But still, it's fun to talk about it, and I don't know. Sometimes, especially when I go through the release notes, or in my case, a bit earlier making them, it's just inspiring too. At least I find that. Let's scroll a bit. By the way, the about page, we had talked about the weather stuff. We talked about the segments. And now we're getting in a magical place, by the way. So, all of our code editors in the front end now do MDI icons, material design icons, autocomplete.
Yeah. And the story on this one is probably the best part.
It's the best part. Yeah, I just want to say this is the best part. So what happened actually is a while back I created the template editor for the UI as a selector, as we call it, and that ended up in the mushroom cards to be used there. And an issue was created there with, hey, it would be cool if it also could autocomplete MDI icons. And then they tagged me. And I was like, yeah, that would be really cool. I can do that stuff. I don't know, man. So then we went into our meeting on Monday evening, or depends on where you are in the world, but our Monday meeting, right, Zach?
Yep.
And we talked about, this is cool. That was a cool idea. And then Bram was like, well, sure.
I'll get it done in an hour.
Yeah. And we were like, sure, you do it in an hour, mister. And he did it in less even.
I'm pretty sure it was 10 minutes after the meeting. I mean,
it was just crazy. And it's really great. It works. And it works in all code editors. It doesn't matter if it's templating or in sending a message or something in an automation. Every code editor will just autocomplete. And it will search for things that are lightning. For example, in the screenshot, it's sunny, but it also finds weather sunny, even though it's in the end or in the middle, it doesn't matter. And on aliases and categories and all kinds of matches. So it's really easy to find the icon you need. And also it will show a little, really little icon
That's
there.
cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Which one you select.
That was part of it too. He was like, well, I could definitely do the text. Yeah, that should be easy, but it may take me a little bit longer to get the preview. 10 minutes later, both are done.
This is a cool feature because it's big and it's really helpful, and it's in our release notes, and it's created in less than an hour. And deep respect for that, Bram. That's cool.
Do you need that for mushroom cards or?
Well, it should be.
Oh, you can. Mushroom cards will, if you upgrade, like, and you're using the mushroom cards, it will just work out of the box. So there's nothing to change on the mushroom end. But you can add templates in Mushroom to your cards and to your icons even. So for Mushroom, this is, if you're using Mushroom cards, this is really helpful actually. But not just there, any template. We allow templating too with messages, and I'm not sure where everywhere else, but more places.
Just use the user interface for change the icon on the entity ID. But
yeah,
that's cool. I mean,
people like to make it dynamic.
Yep. Yeah, and this can be also used by more than Mushroom. Like if you're using the template selector that Frank added a while back, it's in this release. If you're this release and older or newer, then you'll be able to have the same feature, whether it's a custom card, custom panel, whatever it may be.
Yeah, it just works if it's part of the thing now. So I'm going to scroll down real quick a bit because, well, I can't show that actually. I'm thinking now. But what's really cool is that the material design icons project, like, send in an update to Home Assistant in like an hour for the beta cut or something. Or yesterday, what was it? Was it yesterday?
Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, they just came in, added the PR.
Yep.
Which I can't think enough. Like the guys at MDI do their own PRs to Home Assistant.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
That's cool. And we have now 200 new icons for you to consume as well. And there are quite a few home automation related icons in there. They're linked in the release notes in the Other Noteworthy section. We'll go there in a minute, but yeah, they have a list of which icons are new, so you can take a peek.
Is that just used by us or also by Google?
I don't know who's using it. We're a big consumer that I know. Like they do a lot of stuff for us, which is really
Pretty sure
sweet.
Google has their own set of icons that they use that aren't in material design icons. I think some of them are, but I know that they have some that just are just for them, and they don't like share them.
So. Because the material design is from Google, I guess, or not?
It is.
Yeah, the design principle is what they use for the icons, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So Google created like a set of rules on how the icons should look and feel and what they should comply with. And they actually use those set of rules to like build and continue extending it kind of deal. All right, this is a big one too that was contributed, Zach. Maybe we should do this? Maybe?
Yeah, we can. I have my Home Assistant here, or you can pull yours up if you have something.
Feel free. Let's pull it in.
I'm really surprised about that feature because we talk a lot about that, and yeah, I just think, okay, it's maybe December, maybe next year, and then, bam, it was just around. It's really cool.
It is. We had a contributor come in. He had this PR out for quite a while, but then let me pull this up here. We finally merged it this release, but it is something that we have talked about for probably years at this point. Is that the history panel, while useful, is showing everything all at once. So yeah, if you
can you zoom in a bit?
Yes, I forget that every time. If you remember back in the day, back one release ago, you would go into the history panel and every single entity, device, everything all on one page. Meaning if you wanted to find what you were trying to see the history of, you would have to scroll all the way there, or you could pick one, right? You had the ability to pick one entity. Well, this guy thought that wasn't enough. So we have the target picker. So if you've ever used Blueprints, you know about that, where we call this the target picker, where you can choose areas, devices, or entities. And now this has been brought to the history panel. So what this allows you to do is I can choose any of my areas that I have in my house. And if I click on that, this is going to show me every single device or entity in this area on the history panel. I can see all the history of all of my living room and all the downstairs thermostats, see every bit of the information in there. I can do the same thing for devices. It will show me the device information. You can now see my third garage has been closed for a while. And I can do the same thing if I want to do just entities. Now I can choose and continue to add to this list as much as I would like to and see all of that information now. Now, all of this is cool, right? Let me refresh the page. Okay, it stayed. Really cool, right? Let me go to my main dashboard. All right. And now let me go back to history. It stayed. We also now keep the information that you have selected in your browser. So whenever you are, switching back and forth, I need to go here, I need to go to my dashboard, I need to go, wherever you come back, it's all the same. So everything here is very persistent and very much a lot more useful than it used to be. Again, you can change the dates as you could, and you can also split this into its separate devices and entities. If you click this little expand button, I will now see all of the entities and devices themselves. But really cool feature. I can also easily clear all of that out, and it'll go back to that starting screen.
It's also in the URL, right, Zach?
Yeah,
well, that's
it's also
visible,
in the URL.
but...
That's a good point. Where you can take the URL if you want to bookmark it, if you want to copy and paste it somewhere, whatever that is, the URL will override whatever you had in your browser, like cache, right? So if you have a URL and you go to that URL, it will show you whatever was in the URL.
Yeah, so you can select like 2 or 3 areas and then store that link. And whenever you press that bookmark, then it will show the same areas again, right, at that point. Like no matter what the state is.
No matter what.
Cool.
I share my productive instance just to show how the old history look like.
This is old.
It's just not usable. How you can use that?
Yeah.
So you haven't upgraded yet?
No, I have not upgraded yet.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? This is huge.
Yeah. Now, Bdraco did a few releases ago make that history page a lot faster, which was nice, but still it was really ugly, right? Like you just saw Pascal scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and having to search at which entity was the right one or which device was the right one. It's just not really feasible. Much easier to see and use now.
It makes sense, this page. Before it was just around for, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I might actually be using it now.
Right?
It's honestly, I've not been using that page simply because of like this huge list. There's nowhere I could go with it, and now makes sense.
For me, it's the areas. Right now, I don't have to go through and check every single entity or whatever. I can just go to my area, pull that up, see everything. All my humidity sensors, temperature sensors, whatever's in that area.
So I can in no way pronounce this, but thank you.
I call him that guy because I don't know
that guy. Like where my mouse cursor is now. This is who you have to thank for it, and then you can click on it and find him. Nowhere near I can pronounce that. Yep. Anyways, great little feature added this release. Yeah, beautiful. A little my link here to go there instantly in your instance. Kind of helpful. This one is a little surprise that came in by Pios, which is a little template extension. And I'm going to zoom in a bit because, well, it's code. So we got this release, a little filter or function for templates, which is called bool. And what this does is converting something into a boolean, which is either true or false. So instead of doing like if statements everywhere, you can now use the bool to convert a state of, for example, a binary sensor shown in this this little example here, into a boolean. If you're used to programming, like if you're a programmer or have touched some development JavaScript or Python, or it doesn't matter which language at all, you will know that using a bool is actually converting like off, if it's a string, to true. In this case, it won't. This is a special sauce added to a boolean filter that is aware of Home Assistant states. So this thing will actually say that if my washing machine is off, it will actually say it's false because it's off. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's again, it's for developers, coders, people doing stuff in YAML files, stuff like that. So if it doesn't make sense, then it's not for you. But if it does make sense, it's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. And in this example, it's using the immediate if results, the immediate if filter that was added a couple of releases back, which can convert like a Boolean value into something else. So with this little thing, it can turn on my washing machine state, which is on and off, into a Boolean, which is true and false, which is then passed to the immediate if, which says, okay, I'm doing the laundry if it's true, or awaiting the next run if it's false. So in this case, my washing machine is off, so it's returning, awaiting the next run. So there's no if tree or if statement necessary to do these tricks now, and that's kind of cool and kind of neat. And yeah, this is pretty more advanced usage of Home Assistant, but still, if you're into this stuff. Sorry?
It's template. I mean, that's all advanced, but it's really cool that it understands the state of an entity.
Yes. Just a little added sauce to it, like make it Home Assistant aware. That was kind of nice and neat. So thank you for that. Who was it again? Pios. Mm-hmm. Really cool. All right. That's it for the bigger things in core. And then we have like tons of noteworthy stuff, like the material design icons, which we already talked about. Like there are now 200 icons. So they're split in 2 pages. So if you click on these links here, it will actually bring you to the list of icons that have been added. Is there anything in here, Zach, that you like, or Pascal? Do you know? That is really cool. Like there's something with the area card changed, I believe, which is here.
That was a lot requested, but I don't know what it means because I never use routines in Alexa. But I know that there are a lot of users.
Oh, that's something that Mike had talked about for a while,
Yeah, that got in. So I believe in the past you had to do like a binary sensor to wrap toggles and other stuff to get the state change over to Alexa to trigger routines on. Like a binary sensor would trigger on and off, and that would trigger like a routine. And with switches and toggles and buttons, that wasn't possible or something. I believe I could be wrong, but something like that. It was the case that you needed an additional template to get the routines working, and you no longer need that. You can just now like set routines on switches, toggles, and buttons or something. So that's kind of nice. I guess it removes a bunch of templating. So
cool. Another cool one is the logbook live feeds. vDraco made sure that whenever you're in the logbook and you see those, if you set to a time in the future, like from yesterday to tomorrow, you'll actually see it kind of scroll through, and if something happens, it'll go up to the top. Well, before, if you were to scroll down and things start getting added to the top, your scroll bar kind of gets a little wonky. So vDraco made sure that was that user experience is a little bit better now. It pauses that automatic feed and until you scroll back up to the top. The area card did get a lot more feature set, showing the moisture and flood alerts, very similar to motion. So up at the top, it will tell you, oh, there's moisture alert with just a kind of an orange icon with a little raindrop, which is kind of cool. Humidity got added, so now instead of just seeing your temperature in the bottom left, you'll also see the humidity. That's cool. Another one, which I can't really talk too much to, but everything smart home may be able to, is the Aqara FP1 sensor.
Yeah.
And I do want to give props to Dave, because Dave does this thing where he buys the device, he then has to hook up the device from Aqara, grab the information that the device is telling him because it doesn't go with the Zigbee's standards, and then develop around what that device is telling him. So instead of everything working as automatically as everyone would hope, Aqara doesn't like that. So Dave goes in there and fixes it for everyone.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's cool to be able to reverse it. That's the M wave. It's microwave. It feels like microwaving, like the M wave sensor.
Yeah, it's
really more presence detection than motion detection. Well, it's motion, but yeah, it's a really cool sensor actually. I find it, and two reasons why I don't have them yet. It's one, three actually. Then they're hard to get. Let's start with that one, because they're not like on supply everywhere. Two, I find them too darn expensive to put everywhere. Like, so maybe I should do 1 or 2 rooms where I think it's important, but to retrofit my whole house with them, that would be pretty expensive. And 3, they're all main powered, right? They have a USB power. Like I have like my house is from the 80s and like it's made of concrete. And well, in the 80s, they thought like, let's put 1 or 2 wall sockets in every room and that should be enough for everybody, right? At a random place. So it's not like I can like, it's a concrete wall. It's not like I can put more in them or anything. So like I'm usually use a lot of battery stuff, and this thing is not using battery. So that's a bit, I'm not sure. But the sensor itself, looks cool, actually.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's not battery driven, so I have a bit the same problem as you, Frank. So I like battery driven devices.
Yeah, me too, kind of. So I hope one day we'll get battery powered M wave sensors. Somebody hear me, please.
I guess they need too much energy.
Yeah, probably.
Or too many wakes up or some things like that.
So meanwhile, Mike just sent me a message on Discord, a private message with, hey, your explanation of Alexa routines was kind of okay, but not totally okay.
But could you do a little better?
So thank you, Mike, for correcting me. So I'm going to say what he wrote is that you actually needed 2 binary sensors for each switch or toggle individually. One was like a binary sensor for turning it on and the other for turning it off. And then if both were templated, you could then do the Alexa routines with them, which is just crazy, right? So that's now gone. So even less templates.
Or
Thank
even
you,
better, yeah.
That's even better.
Very
right?
good.
What else? We have a Telegram bot now supports polls. I'm not sure. Pascal, you're still using Telegram for Home Assistant?
Yeah, but the webhook. So
yeah, right. Home Connect, if you're using that, it has a bunch of services which you can now control programs of your devices. So from your oven or for your coffee maker, if you have a Home Connect coffee maker, which I actually got this week, so I'm kind of happy with that one.
I need to install that. I have a Siemens coffee machine and I have a Bosch wash machine, so I can connect devices, but I didn't connect it until today.
I have an oven too, but it's like I find it a bit scary to connect my oven to. I don't know. I don't know. It's just weird, but it's cool that there are now services to control the programs of the devices, and you can even like configure your options of them. What I've seen.
Oh yeah, I need to. I actually do have a Home Connect stove as well, so maybe I'll take it out. But I agree with Frank. It's kind of like, do I want that in my Home Assistant? I do a lot of dev in Home Assistant.
Yeah, me
of,
too. Like
a lot of on the edge releases. Yeah.
I have a Swiss brand oven, Vollzug, and they measure the energy. So at the end of each program, I see the energy usage which I had, and you are able to optimize then the energy usage. It's really cool. So if you can feed that back into Home Assistant,
Yeah.
then you can use that on the energy monitor.
Huh, that's kind of cool, actually. Well, Sensibo got a lot of love this release. Was definitely worth mentioning because there were a lot of PRs, a lot of contributions being made to get that thing like being more up to par. So that's cool. And last on the list was iAutomate, which like proudly did his first ever contribution to open source and added support for additional sensors to vCare, which is kind of nice. So
Thanks.
Congratulations, iAutomate. Thank you. That's cool.
So I have vCare, so I can check it then after update.
Cool. We have no new integrations this release. Hopefully next one. Although it was already quite a lot. So some more integrations went to the UI, 8 Sleep, Radio Thermostat, Simple Push, and Skybell. So those are now imported on update automatically. And then like it works. I miss one here, actually. Now I see this. There's another one which came in just before the beta was cut. So I missed that one. That was the LG soundbars? No, LG soundbars, I believe. Interesting. Should check that after the release. So probably missing one. Right. So that's it. Then we have a bunch of breaking changes listed. Of which of those were Python 3.10? We discussed that already. So if you have a custom integration that is not compatible with Python 3.10, that actually might cause an issue on this upgrade. But we don't expect it. It would probably be an old one or something unmaintained. We don't expect many to break on that part. Then we have Bluetooth, which is one to take into account. Do you want to tell something about that, Pascal, maybe? Really quick.
Yeah, right. I already said some things, but yeah, our current build system, or also with Python 3.10, so the most used or old deprecated Bluetooth library, BluePy and PyBlueC, are not working anymore. And yeah, so a lot of Bluetooth devices will probably be stopped working with after the update, because they was a long time quite a bit used, and yeah, most new developer just copy paste from something they is around, and so it's happening that no one used the new Bluetooth interface. I mean, the new Bluetooth interface is also already 4 years old now.
Yeah.
So yeah, we listed the library. It's Bleak, I guess it's called.
Yeah.
So everyone
Bleak is
right. So everyone which have a custom integration or having an integration which use Bluetooth, just swap over to Bleak and everything is fine. It will also work a lot more stable and better as all this old deprecated BluePy copy-paste stuff. So it's in the first hand maybe it's not that nice it stopped working, but if then it got updated to the new way for handling Bluetooth, it's a lot better for the user itself. It also works, really stable. So there are a lot of issues all the time with Bluetooth device. Oh, it's disconnected, they don't reconnect, or it's other issues. And if the library would use the new way for handling Bluetooth, all the problems just gone.
Yeah, and there was one integration that was broken too, which was SwitchBot. SwitchBot actually migrated before like the beta, and this release has a migrated or an upgraded SwitchBot integration with the new Blee library. So thank you very much, guys, for doing that. And that means that one is not in this list, and we'll just keep working and probably work better than before. So which is really nice. I still personally do not use any Bluetooth devices yet. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys use Bluetooth in your home, like for devices? Like Dominic is probably all Z-Wave, but
Bluetooth is not that bad. I mean, a lot of people say it works not nice because they just use the old way, and they make a lot of troubles. So if you use the new way, it's not a problem. Just for the user which run the container installation, if you use Bluetooth, you have to map the D-bus from the host into the container to make the Bluetooth working.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, I don't use too much. I think I would use it more if I had the ESP home, like Bluetooth extender or whatever that works with Home Assistant. If I wasn't lazy and built one of those for myself, then I would probably use it more. But because my Home Assistant, of course, is in my office because I'm, a developer, always using it, and so I'm like, it doesn't really affect anything else except for my office because it's in here. Bluetooth range is terrible. So I used some SwitchBot stuff, like the little finger for my wife's office, but not too much.
Right. I mean, I don't use anything Bluetooth, not that I'm aware of. No, I'm pretty sure.
Do you use like anything though?
I use yes, I do use some things. Yes.
You have a lot of things.
Yeah, I have a lot of things. I have everything is smart and such. Yes, definitely. Yes.
I use Bluetooth more often. I mean, I have Bluetooth device, but they are just not connected to Home Assistant.
Right.
I do have a lot of Bluetooth, but not connected.
Yes, yes. Yeah, no, I have wired CarPlay actually. Well. Anyways, there was some change in the entity filters, like inclusion, exclusion was switched. So all integrations that use entity filters can react a little bit different, which you should look at in that case. And well, all weather entities changed. So it is possible that it is now in a different unit you've, used to have, because it's now all standardized and such. But you can change it now at will, so it might need to adjust the weather entities you use to have your favorite units. That's kind of the thing. Oh, LG soundbars was the one. The breaking changes here. Migrated to the UI. That one is missing. I will add that after the release.
I mean, at least the breaking change.
It's at least in the breaking change. That's true. And it's automatically migrated as well, right? So it's not like
it's not even a breaking change at that point.
No. Well, it is a breaking change actually, because there's no migration path possible. So, so this one is breaking. So it's on a correct place, but it did migrate to the UI, which is really nice, I think. Google Calendars might be interesting. There's something going on with list, I believe. No, that's not Google Calendars, but still interesting though. It was Nest. Nest is on the list, I believe. Yes, that one is interesting. So Nest had authentication issues, or there were a lot of issues with authentication. So that has been is going to change, and this release actually changes it, I believe. But yeah, you can now transition into like the new OAuth way of handling this, and that will take care of everything. So on upgrade, you have to, if you use Nest like the new way, check this out, follow the steps, and um, don't get like disconnected in time, or I'm not sure what's happening there. I believe you're getting kicked out in October then. But it is a breaking change, and it has to do with a lot of frustration I've read about with authentication with Nest, and this should take care of that. That's as far as I know. I don't have Nest myself, actually. So there's that. Yeah, I think that's like in a nutshell. Oh, Z-Wave, yes. You need a newer version this time, I believe, of Z-Wave yes itself, because Dominic has been busy there. So if you're using ZWS, be sure to check this list if you have the right versions before upgrading, or else, well, if you do upgrade and ignored it or haven't read this, you can still upgrade afterwards. So no biggie, but you need the newer version.
On the OS, the integration update the add-on automatic,
Yes.
I guess?
Yes, for the official core build add-on, it will do that. But in all the other instances, it won't. So just the first one will be automatically done. Correct. All right. That was Home Assistant 2022.7.
Yeah, on the root, it was a really big update. I mean, just the new build system and the Python update, it was around 3 weeks. 3 weeks works for me.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen Pascal so like ingrained into one specific thing and like very. He was just in the weeds, man. And like he was telling me, he's like, yeah, I have to do something, and then I get to wait 3 to 4 hours for me to figure out if it works or not. And then if it's broken, I have to do the same thing over and over again.
Yep.
Yeah. The build system and yeah, build all the components. I mean, there are a lot of easy stuff to build, but also a lot complex, which need Fortran and C and all kind of different libraries, and to build that on different platforms that's really hard work.
It is. It's really complex as well, and but I think the result is something to be proud of. So it looks really good, and like don't forget the thing that we're now migrated to is actually the thing that we already had for years, right? But then in our own like hacked built version. So it's kind of amazing to see that like we're basically ending up with what we already had, but now official supported, basically.
Supported by Python.
Yeah.
So it's future approved.
Yeah, we were ahead of time. So that's kind of nice.
Look at us. Well, not really me, but look at you guys go.
Yeah. Well, the wheels actually, like if you don't know how important it is, but before we had wheels actually, which is years ago, it would literally take 8 hours to put out a release. Yeah. So if we released it, it would take 8 hours before it was actually done building, and then started to distributing it to users. So like the build is now reduced from 8 hours back then to today. I believe it's 25 minutes now.
Yeah, and I mean, it was even not automatically built. So I take my laptop in holidays and all time on me. I mean,
yeah, that's
all
true.
the time we have weekly updates.
Oh God, yeah.
Every time it's a patch release or a new release, I just take my notebook. I don't know, in Germany, Europa Park, whatever I was before, and start to build the image.
Yeah, even patch releases were like 8 hours. It's crazy where we come from. That's really
how
cool.
many? If you had a dime for every time you heard, oh well, I can't see the update. Where's the update? Where's the release? And Homer said, I don't see it. How many millionaires, man? You guys would
absolutely.
be
That's true.
I
It's
mean,
really great now.
yeah, I mean, it's nothing. And back in the days, I mean, the updates was mostly the next day or so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's also really nice for beta as well, because we can do quick beta releases. People can immediately test them. Oh, we need to do another beta release. It doesn't take 2 days to do 2 releases. We can do 2 releases in the same day very, very easily.
I mean, it's not
Well,
just
we actually do.
Right?
Yeah.
We make every night a build from whatever supervisor, home assistant, and then we can test that, and it's I mean, we improve that quite a bit.
Yeah.
So
Frank
we actually do.
Yeah.
People maybe don't know, but we do and actually release every single night, fully automated, which is a dev build. That's what we call it. It's a nightly. So it's basically picking up our development environments, and as of this week, including the front end. And we all smack that development environments together and then build like a temporary little release, which is shipped to all the developers or developer instances. So we can actually I upgrade every morning. So because of all these improvements that we've done over the years and what Pascal worked hard on, we can now just have a mini release every night and automatically, and indeed do multiple betas in a day, and including the night release. Like we had nightly, we had a beta, and we had the final release today. That's just usually back in the day that was unthinkable.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
it's really great.
It's also a big thanks to Microsoft, which hosts all the image. Then
Yeah.
also to Sentry, which help. So with the automated tests and test reports, and there are a lot of companies which give us their service for free that we can use and make that nice quality.
Yep. Yeah. Now most of the people in at least like Navikasa doing development, we're all doing test betas every single night for everyone. Instead of waiting, to find issues during beta, we're finding issues in our production instances every day to make sure it's good to go by the next release, which is kind of cool. I really like it. My wife doesn't like it as much.
Yeah, my partner doesn't like it either.
Yeah. But I mean, to be honest, nowadays it's like 0 issues 99% of the time. Like we may upgrade to a dev release that might have an issue, but
that's why I run production in my house. But I have around 7 or 8 test instances which run in a rack. So
can you tell you're a home assistant developer if you have 8?
By the number of instances.
Yeah,
Dominic has now 1 instance.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to use it, by the way, Dominic? What are you planning to do with it?
At least, not sure yet. I did a range test yesterday, compared like 4 different Z-Wave modules.
Oh, right. I saw a screenshot of that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it's now for testing right now. But you're running, what is it called again? I forgot the name. I'm sorry. IO Broker. That's
yeah.
I think you'll find home assistants a little bit better.
No. Well, I always say try all. And like if people ask me what's the best, then just try and see what fits right. Like some people fare better with
you'll find that home
or IO
assistant
Broken or
works.
That could be, but it should fit you in the end.
Yeah, I mean, if part of the Open Home newsletter, we actually have a newsworthy note about OpenHab. Even though this is where Home Assistant and Navicasa or whatever, we're still showing things about OpenHab. They have a new release this month. They're 3.2. It's all a happy ecosystem.
Yeah, congratulations. I mean, also for the testing, also a big thanks to all testers. So we have a lot of beta testers with test beta and report bugs. That's really helpful.
Yeah.
That's true. If you like to join the beta, by the way, that's possible. Like a week before the release, so the last Wednesday of every month, the beta starts. We have a beta channel on the Discord chat, which you can join. You can discuss the beta and what's going on and find the bugs and issues, and we all try to help and solve them as quick as possible. And sometimes we even make some changes based on discussions happening there. So it's a really active channel. It's really fun to at least I look forward to it every month to the beta week. And it's really cool that people help out testing it. And the more people we have testing the release, that just helps to enables us to ship a better and stable more product in the end, right? For all of you. So yeah, thank you for all the testers again this month.
Yeah. In the same page, which you can opt in for analytics, you can also enable share crash logs. So if you run operating system of supervised installation, that you can share the issues directly with us without private data. It's just the crash log, filter it, and that helps a lot to fix bugs or issues if are in the wild.
Yep. So I'm thinking, are there any questions left from some people about the release? Actually, I just caught myself on not really catching up on chat. The speed is coming, is mentioned quite a bit in chat, actually. It's super nice.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. People restarting and being super quick.
Just to be fair, I mean, it was not slow before. It's now just faster.
Yeah, that's true.
Sonoff is not working. That's a custom integration, I believe. So you should report it with the custom integration. Could not be that big of a deal. All right. I think if you guys have something new going on this month, like
I personally search a CO2 sensor which is battery driven. So if someone has one, just send me the link, email, whatever. I would really be interested.
a battery powered CO2 sensor, like one that is proper working, right? Not there's also a Bosch one, that Bosch based sensor that emulates it or calculates it.
I will replace my Netatmo. They are battery driven, that's cool, but I search for something's independent locally.
Right, that's cloud based, right?
Yeah.
Understandable. Yeah, I got recently, but I believe that this is already older than a month. But I got one of these from Xiaomi e-ink screens, but it's not CO2. I really want to see CO2 actually. That would be cool.
You know, something that I thought about at the beginning of the stream, and then I think Paulus is watching us right now in his car because he just sent me a message saying, you know, something that I just saw in the comments was Home Assistant Sky Connect.
What?
Now,
what?
Yeah, there's this new thing out, and if you are a part of the newsletter, you probably saw it already. But if you're not,
spill it, Zach.
And you didn't watch the stream the other day, then there's something really cool that we announced.
Oh, you missed that. Yes, spill it, Zach.
Yeah, let me.
The Sky Connect.
A screenshot. But
you don't have the actual device there? I thought you had.
No, we don't have device. We don't have the full device yet. It's coming soon.
Paulus had those.
Yeah, Paulus had one. Technically, we have three, but I don't have one yet. But the Home Assistant Sky Connect. So this is. Can you see my screen? Yeah. So this nice little device is pretty cool. So as you may know, the Home Assistant Yellow that we have test devices and it's shipping this month has a Zigbee/Thread antenna inside of it. In order to talk to your Zigbee devices, and in the future, Matter, right? So our goal is to utilize the Thread protocol in order to place Matter on top of it. Well, the Home Assistant Sky Connect is for anyone who is running Home Assistant on something that is not the Home Assistant Yellow. Well, technically you can still use it in the Home Assistant Yellow, but realistically, you're running Raspberry Pi, the Home Assistant Blue, you're running, something on a VM, I don't even know. But you can now take the Home Assistant Sky Connect when it's released, plug it in, and you'll have a Zigbee network and a Thread network that will hopefully have Matter support in the future. So this is something that we're working on right now that you can go to homeassistant.io/SkyConnect-interest if you're interested, and let us know there. But this is probably going to be released within the next few months. I would say 2-3-ish, but that's just a guesstimate. We're still working on the Matter spec constantly. We went to the CSA, or Stefan went to the CSA meeting and learned a lot. But this is a really cool device that we're coming out with.
And it comes, I'm not sure if you can share that, but it comes with a USB extender cable.
Yes. Yeah. So in the box, it will come with a USB extension up to, I think it's 1.5 meters, 1 meter. I can't remember now. How long we made it. But it will come with an extension, really nice extension. We made sure to get pretty, quality extension cable. Everything's really nice. So it's meant to be used with the USB extension cable in order to get the best results. Yeah, it's really, really exciting. We're getting into more and more hardware as we see the need in the community, and Zigbee and hopefully Matter in the future is definitely something we're going to see a lot of people want.
This is the same thing that's baked into the Yellow, right? Like the Yellow has
exactly the same thing.
Right.
We basically just picked it up and giving it to everyone else. Not giving it, no. But
smacked it on its own USB stick and shipped it. Kind of deal.
Exactly.
Working and running installation, it would be crap if you just have to throw that away and buy a Yellow. So we want to make it that everyone can use it.
Right.
Yep. Exactly.
Cool. I'm looking forward to that, by the way. Although I have a Yellow, but
yeah, well, test devices should be coming shortly.
I have one of the early prototypes.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're good
at
about it.
Actually running and working. No, but it works.
It's the same,
actually. Yeah, just works.
It'll have the latest firmware from Stefan on it. Plus, it'll have the case, which is the coolest part.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
Really bad.
I want to have it. How much will it cost? Probably. We have not dialed that in yet, so no spoilers on the cost yet.
Yeah, I like the back too.
The back is the best part. I showed it to my wife, and even she was impressed. That's great.
Oh, you have the model. You have Dominic has already gone DIY on that thing, so that's it. That's why he's running away. Look at that.
So I have a Z-Wave module with an external antenna, and I needed a place to put it. So basically, I just drilled a hole in there, and
it's completely customizable.
Dominic has the first Yellow case that has been drilled a hole into. DIY'd already. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of nice, actually. It looks good, by the way. It looks like a good job. Super. All right. I think that's almost wrapping it up for today. Unless there's something else.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I need to finish
all right.
my Umbrella Academy.
That's kind of cool.
That looks good.
That is that the AOTech?
No, that's the Raspberry, Raspberry 7 Pro.
Gotcha. Yeah, so if you don't know, we did make it possible to add Z-Wave really easy to the Home Assistant Yellow. More easy than having to have an antenna. All you technically need is I can't remember what the word is called, but it's like an AOTech Z-Wave antenna, and it'll fit right into the case of the Yellow. Yeah, you can also use the USB dongle, of course, but you have a lot. Yeah,
I have a couple. Yeah,
he's a Z-Wave master, right? So he has everything Z-Wave. Yeah. All right.
Will there be, there's a question. Will there be an in-person conference this year? Well, it's already July, and so probably not this year. But we are planning a conference. But we do hope to have, in-person meetups, in-person chats, and also if you are anyone in the community and you want to put together a meetup, you can do that. Doesn't have to be put on by us, doesn't have to be put on by anyone in particular. I know we've been talking to our creator network, which is really cool, about putting on some meetups. We will, if you ask us, we will possibly help sponsor it. For example, send you stickers, help you with organizing it a bit, whatever you may need, we will pitch in and help. But it doesn't, it doesn't have to be a big, a big official meeting in order for everyone to, get together, grab a beer and anything like that. So.
True. All right, for the last part of the stream, down below this video, there's like is it down there? Where is it nowadays? Not up, like a thumbs up, like, subscribe.
It's down below. It's down below.
YouTuber. Who is the button?
Yep. Click that subscribe and like. Yeah.
Right. So do that
right
and. Check out the Open Home newsletter and the release notes. They're linked up there in case you want to find them. And hopefully for next release, we'll bring some other new exciting things. I believe the promise for this upcoming release is that we have a resolution for all problems. So I'm looking forward to that. That's a spoiler, right?
Yeah,
that is a spoiler.
In the supervisor, we have it already for 2 years, so it's not new. It's just not on the use.
It's a tiny bit of a spoiler.
Yeah, that's a cool spoiler.
All right. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next month. And thank you guys for joining.
Yeah. Good evening.
Bye.
Bye.